I am just waiting for the timer to come on, and there he goes. Today is Thursday, July 26, 2018, at 7:49 p.m. in Toronto. So I just came home. And as usual, there's a lot of harassment in the public places and in the workplace as well. So it would seem that I was flagged again. And it would seem that somebody was logged in last night. I heard somebody in the workplace was logged in and was trying to climb on top of me. So, what that means is that the Chinese technology being used in the building as part of the remote sex slave operation and remote prostitution operation is the technology that's being used is ultrasonics. So, it's kind of like haptic technology where you feel the pressure on your body. Now I cover my body with I sleep in a makeshift Faraday cage. So on top of my body is metal. So nobody is climbing on top of me anytime soon. But of course they try. Excuse me. I'm just getting over what seems to be a cold. Um, so there are various people in the workplace that is taking turns to surveil me because I'm flagged. And again, Stip's name is being called, this policeman's name. And I heard that there is a couple more warrants for my arrest or questioning or whatever it is that it is that the police can pull me in for. And that is as a direct result of new information that they got, reports that's being submitted about me that's being made public because the public is making the report or is contributing to the report. So it's public information. And these reports are being filed about me with the cops, and the cops are using these reports to get warrants for questioning, for charges, and so on. So I'm going to say this: if anybody is saying that I'm stalking them, they're lying. I'm not stalking them. The person who is saying that I'm stalking them and is submitting reports that saying I'm stalking them are actually monitors who are signing me out of the system, contracting the surveillance to other people, and these people are stalking me. So in order to make reports, they're trying to make contact with me. And so they cover their behinds by saying I'm stalking them. Because there are other reports saying the same thing because other monitors wanted to cover their behinds as well. So I heard, just as an example, I heard I picked up Pod. So here's what happened with Pod. I was in a social gathering in a sports bar with the company, with the department, and we played a game of tennis and we shook hands afterwards. And that was the only direct contact I had with this person. I heard that I picked him up. So this is what is being done to cover up the fact that what I'm suspecting is that he signed me out of the system and he was monitoring me on behalf of my family, of my now deceased brother, who had the original contract, and he subcontracted to people in the workplace, Pad being one of them. I didn't pick up Pad. He picked me up, or he was trying to. When I say pick up, I meant imprint, because I'm suspecting that he was looking at me share, and he was passing me around as well to other people to look at me share. Part of monitoring, part of illegal surveillance. Because I heard that Stip and other people, other policemen, are doing this to save place in a psychiatric ward or the prison because there's no room in the prison. So instead of doing that, putting people in prison, women like me who was supposed to have been a prostitute when I wasn't, they're going to do this instead. Have people look at me share, and everybody's going to take a turn. So I'm going to be servile as well when that happens. Another example of how a setup is done and a frame. In the present job I have, I go outside. There are some tables. Excuse me. There are some tables outside the workplace, and I go outside at lunch. I have half an hour lunch, and I have my lunch outside, most alone, basically. And yesterday, this black guy drove up right at the end of my lunch, my half an hour lunch period. And he came out the van. It was a moving truck, and for some reason he looked directly at me in the lawn, and then he made his way into the office through the main entrance after trying the side entrances, all the while looking at me in the opposite direction, because the benches were near the entrance and he was inside of the compound, so he had to be looking back to look at me. And he went in and then came right back out. And I had to go in because my lunch period was over. And I walked past him, and he kept on looking at me directly, almost as if he was trying to make contact. I ignored him. I completely ignored him. And I walked into the building. When I walked in, I heard conversations on the floor about that was Rick. He was trying to meet you. He came here to have lunch with you. And I learned afterwards through harassing comments on the bus and so on that Rick is a monitor. He signed me out. He's also a pimp. And he is passing me around to all kinds of black people, including people in Africa and Somalia. So this is how trafficking is done. And this is how they cover what they're doing. Rick will then turn around and call the cops because he's working with the cops. He's an informant. He put himself in a position of being an informant and tell the cops all kinds of lies. And because the cops are targeting me, the cops will take this information and use it for whatever use they want. Get a charge in, get a warrant, have me mentally committed, so on. This is the whole idea. I am being targeted by the police. Now, I had talked about Rohini Besasar's case, and I had expressed my suspicions that she was being trafficked around in exactly the same way I am. It's also my suspicion that everything that's going on here is to have me mentally committed. Excuse me. Is to have me mentally committed or to have me charged to put me in prison like Rohini Besasar, because I'm exposing what's going on. I'm exposing the remote trafficking ring, the remote sex slave operation. In my case, as in Rohini Besasar's case, she was brought down to the level where she didn't have an income, and then men started showing up in her life and offering her a couch and offering her a meal and so on. And I didn't get the impression from the article I read that she was physically involved with them, but somehow they were buying things for her. Well, people don't buy things for you for nothing. And as in my case, I'm suspecting that they were logging into her, they were gerbling her, they were using her for remote sex rather than physical sex. Because she expressed in her statements, in her rantings, quote unquote, that she felt that she was shipped. And it's very possible traffickers ship their victims to track them and to violate them as well. So any warrants out there, I mean, feel free to serve it, whoever wants to serve it. But before you do that, and before you pull me in, ask some questions, because here are some answers. I'm giving it to you preemptively. I didn't stalk anyone. I know I'm being reported on. I know the police is after me. They're targeting me because I'm exposing this ring that they are part of. And I am suspecting that the police is doing the supply chain. They are providing the cover, the criminalization, the warrants, the charges, to bring somebody down, the victim that's being recruited, to bring them down, like Rohini Besasar, and to streamline them into the underground trafficking ring. And gangs are working with the dirty cops, I should say, not all the cops, some dirty cops who's doing this. And this pipeline, underground pipeline, supplies very, very rich people and very powerful people and politicians and so on. So in the military, in the black military operations and so on. So this is my suspicion. The gangs are using lasers and tasers and ultrasonics, as I said before, to violate you as you sleep, to have this feeling of an object inside of you, sexual sensations, to recruit you, to train you, to customize you to the John who's looking. Voyeurism, masturbation rings, all these things are all together in this program. As I said before, I'm a target. A target is targeted. Once my name is on the list and there's a big red flag next to it, I'm a target. So therefore, people will tell lies, they will stalk you, they will violate you. And the cops also will do the same thing because you're a target and you're supposed to be at the end of this whole thing. Targets are meant to be killed. They are meant to be violated and killed and disposed of at the end of the program. This is what targets are for. So I'm a target. At the end of the program, I'm supposed to be killed off. Several attempts have been made on my life on several occasions on the road, driving and so on, and with tasers and lasers on my heart. I'm supposed to be dead, basically. So I'm not supposed to, I was not supposed to live this long to expose what's going on, as I just did, and I've been doing all along. I was not supposed to survive this. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with me. All the calls to the cops are from people who are taking me out of the system to target me because I'm a target. I keep hearing it all the time in the workplace. I'm a target, I'm a target, I'm a target, I'm a target. Therefore, I'm being targeted. The implication is we can lie, we could stalk you, we could do whatever we want with you, and the cops are not going to do anything to us, but only you're going to be charged. And this is exactly what happens. So, any warrants out there that's out there for whatever, it's a direct result of my being targeted. This is entrapment, out and out entrapment. Should not have been signed in the first place. So if you're a target, you're going to be targeted by people on every level, judges, magistrates, court process, the cops, doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists. Everybody's infiltrated. In this case, in my case, my major infiltrator is the worker I have in court right now for sexual harassment. He is the one who flagged me in the first place with a 42nd division based on lies. Had my name put on a list. And people are continuously flagging me for different reasons to have my name on different lists, I heard. People from the workplace are flagging me. This is harassment. And this should be disclosed to me because I'm being illegally surveilled, but that's okay because I'm a target. So the cops are not going to do anything to the person who's illegally surveilling me. But the cops are going to come after me with the information that these criminals are submitting about me. Because I'm a target, the cops are going to target me that way. So any warrants out there, it should be quashed because they're not based on valid information. They're based on lies. And they should not have been signed. If they are signed, then they're signed by dirty magistrates and dirty judges who've been infiltrated as well. Talk to you another time. There's a time delay again on this, and somebody is on my system because I had the message that somebody else is logged on. Should have taken a picture of it, but the screen is gone now. So it's going to take a while to shut off, and I'm not going to sit here and wait. So I'm just going to get up and wait for this to shut off. And hopefully it will.